thank the user, Chris IZQ, or however you say it, for giving me a reason to turn on my camera. This numbnut has actually given me something to talk about: the overgeneralization of atheists by theists. I'm not sure who this person is, but he or she, I'm assuming it's a he, is clearly not that intelligent, because despite the fact that I appear in nearly all my videos, this person assumed that I was a man. One of the comments that he or she left on my video backsliding was this: "You're as dogmatic as unthinking religious person. You never doubt or question your beliefs. Seems awfully close-minded and arrogant. And Mother Teresa devoted her life to the sick and poor. Even her critics accept that. What are you talking about? And no thinking atheist is off the hook. You should be able to explain what you believe. You think we are here by accident and that life has no meaning, that everything happened by random floating molecules. Okay, fine, but it's probably the reason you're a sad person." So, aside from the fact that this person was taught to write by prints, he or she, but probably he, made a lot of illogical and unsubstantiated assumptions about me. To get it out of the way, the whole Mother Teresa deal was from a side argument about whether or not the old cow was a good person in life. For those of you who've actually read up on her life, you already know that she was a sadistic bitch who was obsessed with suffering. And she most certainly was not dedicated to helping the poor. If anything, she praised the sanctity of poverty while pocketing an untold number of donations to her organization. Apparently, because her Christ suffered on a cross for a few hours, she reasoned that suffering was a good thing and brought those dying in agony closer to God. But I digress. If you're an atheist, then you've probably already heard all that crap before. You don't believe in a God, therefore you must think everything is happenstance and there's no meaning for your life, blah blah blitty blah. I'm so enlightened. Now it's time to bow my head and talk to myself. I'm going to answer you directly, Chris IZQ, as well as everyone else who has bought into this misconception. Jack, first off, I'm going to have to remind you of what the definition of an atheist is, since so many of you keep associating it as a belief in no gods, which quite frankly doesn't make any cotton-picking sense. I am an atheist, which means I have no belief in any gods. The term atheist says absolutely nothing about what I do believe, and therefore is not dogmatic. Secondly, I never said nor implied that I don't doubt or question my beliefs, and I also never said that I didn't have to explain them either. It's interesting that you would accuse me of this when you've never inquired as to what my beliefs are. So, I will tell you. I believe in things that exist. I believe in things that can be demonstrated to exist. Shared reality. And I make no apologies for only believing in things that exist and that can be demonstrated to exist, because I care deeply about whether or not the things I believe in are actually real. So if rejecting claims of the supernatural because of lack of empirical evidence seems arrogant to you, so be it. But if I did not reject such claims, then I would be inclined to believe in anything without sound evidence, and that would leave me heavily vulnerable to trickery. Thirdly, and this one is my favorite misconception, where'd you get this stupid idea that I believe that we are here by accident and that life has no meaning? When have I ever said that? The answer is never, because I don't believe that. Life as a whole came to be because the conditions on Earth that have taken place over the many billions of years that it has existed became conducive to supporting life. I don't consider that to be necessarily an accident, just because I see no evidence that an intelligent being made this happen. But you said we, so I assume you meant human beings, and again, I don't believe our existence as a species was an accident either, as anyone who understands natural selection would more than likely agree. In addition, I'm not all that interested in any philosophical musings as to why we are here, because as a whole, they're meaningless. But that does not mean that I believe that life itself is meaningless. And again, I've never said nor implied that I think this way. You made that dumbass leap the second you realized that I don't believe in gods. But just because I don't believe that there is or was a big giant head that created everything and smacks our hands when we get out of line, doesn't mean that I see no purpose for our lives. Life is whatever you make it to be. So the meaning to it is whatever you decide it to be. Everything we know about the physical world has shown us that this is all we have. So that should be all the incentive you need to enjoy your life while it lasts. But that's not good enough for people like you. You need a divine jailer to tell you that you are here because of some grandiose design. And that lets you off the hook, because it relieves you of the burden of having to think for yourself. And that is just pathetic. I don't have to believe that there was some specific purpose for my birth to feel fulfilled as a person. My parents got together and their cells created the thing that eventually became me, and that thing survived the womb, and so I was born. I'm certain it was not my parents' intent to conceive a child, but that still doesn't make it an accident. It's not like my mother tripped and fell on my father's penis, okay? And unlike millions of people throughout human history, I also survived childhood, and that certainly was no accident either. It's easy to forget that in a time of penicillin and vaccinations and good hygiene, none of which were provided by any gods. You see, you keep looking for a reason. It has never mattered all that much to me how or why any of us came to be. All that matters is what we do with the lives that we have now. So who are you to say that I am a sad person? I'm not. I don't have to assign myself some cosmic reason for my existence to be happy. And the fact that you do says that it is you who is the sad person.